Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome back to another one of my reaction videos. So today I'm going to be reacting to the new episode of Death Battle, which just came out, which is Hercules versus Sun Wukong. Hercules from Greek mythology and Sun Wukong from Chinese mythology. I honestly am very, very excited for this episode. If you guys have seen my channel before to really any capacity, then you'll know that I really like when Death Battle does new things, like things they haven't tried before, like experimentation and stuff like that, right? Because I always think that more is better. If you have more variety in what you can do and the episodes you can make, I just think that's a beautiful thing. So I am very excited to see what they do with this episode, how it's different, how it's similar, and just seeing, how they analyze these kinds of characters. I think this is a really cool fight, at least thematically, and I think it has the potential to be really fun in the animation. So I am very excited. I don't want to get my expectations up too high, but I'm very excited that we're getting this kind of death battle right here, right now. In terms of who I'm rooting for, I've always been more familiar with Greek mythology. Like, that's just the kind of stuff that I, was attracted to more so growing up rather than Chinese mythology. I did know some stuff about it, but not nearly as much as Greek mythology when I was a kid. So I guess from that point of view, I'm rooting for Hercules, or I guess Heracles is his Greek name, because Hercules is the Roman version of his name, but they still have Hercules in the title, of course, because that's the more popular name. I totally understand that. In terms of who I think is going to win, though, in my prediction, I went with Sun Wukong, and I'm still pretty much fully thinking that he's going to win. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Hercules has something that I'm not aware of, or maybe there's like a big weakness in Shao Kahn that I'm Shao Kahn, Sun Wukong that I'm not aware of. But in terms of like just comparing them directly based on what I know, I'm pretty sure Sun Wukong is just a lot smarter and a lot, more of a battle tactician with more experience. It seems like he's a lot harder to kill, and I don't know the full extent of that, but apparently there's a big extent to how far that goes. So, that could be a big problem for Hercules. Hercules might be physically stronger, but I'm pretty sure Sun Wukong has more magic power. I think he has more versatility. I think Hercules has more weaponry, but in terms of like overall versatility, I'd want to say Sun Wukong is just, more impressive. In general, I think Sun Wukong just holds more advantages in this fight and has more of what Hercules has not seen than what, than the other way around. I feel like I feel like in general, Sun Wukong is just more experienced, and he's seen a lot of what Hercules can do, and Hercules maybe hasn't seen as much of what Sun Wukong can do, and I feel like he hasn't fought as many characters on Sun Wukong's level. And maybe I'm getting part of that wrong. That's totally fair. Maybe Death Battle will prove me wrong in some way, but that's just what I'm thinking going into it. But again, either way, no matter who wins, I just want a really cool fight. So without further ado, let's get started.
Death Battle is sponsored by our
ad. Let's skip through that.
That's better.
Here we go, Death Battle.
Hercules, the god of strength.
Honey, you mean Huncules.
The Monkey King. Myth has many heroes, but few overcome their past to become legendary.
Oh yeah.
And maybe inspire some comics and anime to boot.
Absolutely.
Boomstick. And it's our
See, again, thematically, I love the idea of this fight.
Who would win a death battle?
Okay, nice. I like that shot of the animation already.
He's the man, the myth, the legend. He's Hercules. Stories of
God of
Hercules
War.
exist in many iterations.
Oh
We'll
yeah.
examine the earliest known accounts, the legend of Heracles.
There we go,
No
Heracles.
Disney zero to hero, just the classic Greek myth.
Yeah.
And like most ancient Greek
And I
stories,
really like
it
that,
began
what they're
with Zeus
doing.
Being a total creep. The god of thunder did his thing with a princess by
Yeah, Zeus is,
disguising himself as her husband.
Zeus is
what
Zeus.
The hell, man? And thus a demigod was born, who was named Alcaeus. But Hera was pretty pissed Zeus had cheated on her yet again, so Alcaeus' human parents renamed him in her honor. Yep.
Okay.
Hercules means glory to Hera. Too bad she had already made up
Right.
her mind, though, and that kid was gonna pay. The child would
Yeah.
need some way to survive Hera's
Father of
wrath.
51
So the
children,
goddess
yeah.
heroes carried out a plan
The
that
Greek
was
gods get
frankly
around,
insane.
let's just say.
Athena tricked Hera into nursing the baby Heracles, and her milk gave him supernatural strength unbound, even beyond many of the gods themselves. So
Physically,
strong
at
that
least,
he
yeah.
hurt her and caused her to spray milk all over the place like a boob sprinkler.
And created
which
the galaxy,
created
right?
The galaxy.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why we call it the Milky Way. Oh, God, I'm never eating one of those candy bars again. With his godlike power, Heracles became a
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the real
warrior
reason,
trained by the
actually.
finest instructors in all of Greece. Unfortunately, he wasn't without problems. While he was a natural at boxing, wrestling, fencing, and so much more, he struggled in the arts. He even had a fit and accidentally
Well, I mean, for fighting, he seems pretty good. That's what this is all about.
This was a sign of the tragedy to come. Many years later, as his name began to be synonymous with the term hero, he murdered his wife, Princess Megara,
Yeah.
and her sons. Yeah,
And then came the 12 labors.
him into a kill frenzy rage.
So yeah,
That didn't excuse
that's
him
messed
for
up, Hera.
his guilt
What
was
the
there.
hell?
Desperate to atone, he sought guidance from the Oracle of Delphi and learned his path to redemption. He would submit himself to King Eurystheus.
Best
and
redemption
perform
arc ever, guys.
grueling labors. The guy was a D-bag, but Herc did what he had to, and through his struggles, built a killer arsenal. For his first labor, he was tasked with slaying a lion whose hide could
Nemean
not
lion.
be pierced by any blade.
Yeah.
So Herc just beat the lion to death with his bare hands. And took the
At least stronger than any weapon. Well, not maybe not any weapon, but just use your strength.
So loud, no living thing could bear the noise. He battled a multi-headed hydra, cauterizing its necks after each decapitation so the heads would not grow back. A lot of sliced off heads meant a lot of blood
arrows
spill,
coated in hydra
and
blood,
hydra
yeah.
blood is extra poisonous. Even
There we go.
gods fear it. So Herc dipped his arrows in the stuff for later use. Like
Yeah.
when he used them to take out centaurs, titans, and even the sun. Sort of. The details of the Smith differ. But in some versions, Heracles was so fed up with the desert heat, he fired an arrow at the sun, the physical embodiment of the god Helios.
Okay,
Guess
gotcha.
That's one way to cool off. Take that, global warming. To reach the sun, his arrow would have to fly 90 times faster than light. The maximum draw weight
That's
of a
106 times, but okay.
40 pounds, shooting an arrow 300 feet per second. Shooting one faster than light would require strength incomprehensible to mortals such as us.
Well,
Anyway,
yeah, no duh.
Hercules needed his labors,
But yeah,
the
no,
king was a
absolutely.
sore loser and axed 2 of them for cheating. Because Herc was a lot more clever than he expected. Heracles received 2 more tasks.
Yeah, he is
one of
still
which required
smart
to
in his
retrieve
own
the
way.
golden apples of Hesperides, which ironically originally belonged to Hera. As part of his plan, Heracles would temporarily take on the role of the Titan Atlas as bearer of the heavens.
Yep.
That sounds exhausting.
He literally just talked about the
More
Marvel
than you
version
think,
of this
While
in last
modern art
episode.
often portrays Atlas carrying a globe, the Greeks perceived his burden as a celestial
Dummy?
spirit. This would mean Heracles supported
Dummy?
not
Are you
just the
okay?
Earth, but the whole universe.
Like, I'm holding up this entire show.
Oh, damn.
The common view of the time was that the universe was
Dummy is
endless.
universal, guys.
Chaos, the primordial origin of everything, was boundless. Meaning, Heracles held up the weight of conceptual infinity. Luckily, Herc's got one hell of a drive.
That's
to
some
persevere
strength,
and to
guys.
make amends. Like when he met King Admetus, he got to party it up and was too drunk to realize the king was in a really bad state because his wife had just died. Reminds me of someone. Can't imagine who. Well, Herc felt bad, so he decided to make it up to his bro by literally beating up the god of death until he returned Admetus' wife. And that's true best friend material.
Oh, yeah.
Heracles
My best friends would do that for me,
surprised others with his
absolutely.
wit, particularly with finding solutions hidden in plain sight. For example, when he wrestled Antaeus, a giant who was invincible so long as his feet were on the ground, Heracles simply picked him up and strangled him in the air.
Well,
Even
yeah.
giants and the god of death couldn't end his story. Instead, he was tricked into putting on a shirt covered in that Hydra blood, and it totally screwed him up. What a BS
Sounds
way
like
to
it
go.
would, yeah.
It's also a testament to how a contest of power could not defeat him. Racked with unbearable pain and burning at a pyre, Heracles called to the deities who had watched his story unfold. And so, as his mortal form returned to ash, Heracles ascended to Mount Olympus, where he was welcomed as the god of strength. Even
Yep.
Hera lightened up. His life may have been one of strife and struggle, but on that day, all the world was left in awe of the legend of Heracles.
Hell yeah. So wow, that's pretty awesome. I was wondering whether or not we were gonna have an ad here, but we're not. Okay, well, let's look at Sun Wukong.
Stone from the energy of the sun and moon. Upon birth, he graciously bowed to the cardinal directions and shot lasers from his eyes. Strap in, folks. This was a doozy. This monkey
Alrighty.
befriended a
I love a
band of other
doozy.
primates and rather narcissistically named himself.
Japanese name is Son Goku, yeah.
But after a few centuries of monkeying about, he got a taste of the dreaded midlife crisis.
Ugh.
See, the Monkey King was fierce and brave, yet he feared death. So he ventured to new lands in search of immortality.
Turns out he'd find a lot of it.
Training under the
Right,
Taoist
yeah.
master Wu Ti, he earned his first method of immortality and a new name. He would be the Monkey Awakened to the Void, spoken as Sun Wukong.
He also learned a bunch of magic. He can ride clouds, make thousands of clones, heal from fatal wounds like decapitation, and transform into basically anything. A bird, some vapor,
top-notch
even
CGI.
an incredible fighting temple.
With his famous
Damn.
cloud somersault, he could traverse the world at incredibly
Yeah, the
high
72
speed.
transformations up
First,
there.
A single somersault could carry him 108,000 li. Li being a traditional Chinese unit equal to about 500 meters, making one somersault move 54,000 kilometers per second. Fast enough to circle the entire Earth in one leap.
And he'd only get faster from there. Monkey would do whatever it took to prove he was the best of the best.
When
Yeah, a lot of
fighting
magic
mighty
down there.
deity Prince Nocha, his foe transformed into a more powerful visage with 3 heads and 6 arms.
But Sun was like, hey, I can do that too. And then
Sun Wukong eventually returned to his
It's like
simian
pre-crisis
subjects,
Superman.
and with his newfound power, amassed a veritable army. However, he felt no weapon in their arsenal suited him.
So he barged into the Dragon King's palace and demanded he hand over a weapon worthy of a king who could match the power of heaven. Yeah, Sun was pretty full of himself, but he
Sounds
wound
like
up
it.
taking a pillar originally designed to measure the depths of the ocean.
What seemed like a worthless rod to the Dragon King was actually the perfect weapon for Wukong. Weighing nearly 8 tons, the Rui Jingu Bang can change size at his whim. It can shrink to the size of a needle or grow long enough to pierce the heavens.
The same heavens that got pretty mad with Sun after he crossed
Sleep
his name out of
insects?
the
Yeah, he's got a
ledger of
lot there.
death, making himself double immortal. Wait, how does that work?
And even more mad when he demanded to be formally acknowledged as the Great Sage equal to heaven.
Okay, we've got a headstrong goofball who quickly masters new powers and wants a fancy title.
Yeah.
This is a shonen anime.
Now, the Monkey King
Yeah.
may have lashed out, but it was because when he requested a place in heaven, a place he truly believed he deserved, the Jade Emperor's court reduced him to a stable boy.
Beneath all his antics, what Sun wanted most was to prove himself.
Even with all the shenanigans, the Jade Emperor remained cautious and willing to placate Wukong.
By making him the watchdog of the Garden of Immortal Peaches.
Oh,
He totally
okay.
ate that shit, didn't he, Wiz?
Oh yeah, Wukong got hammered, ate most of the peaches, ran around the Jade Palace in a fit, and found 5 gourds of immortality pills, which he promptly swallowed. All of them.
Okay, so that makes
Alrighty.
how many layers of immortality now?
I'd say a few 100,000, if you count each individual peach and pill. When he sobered up, he knew he was in serious trouble. So, naturally, he prepared for war.
Wow, that escalated.
Yeah, I was
What did
about to
you
say.
do? Kill him? So the Monkey King proved too strong for heaven. He battled all their best fighters and even matched Erlong Shen blow for blow in an epic battle of transformations. He's that guy with the third eye.
And heaven's
Okay.
greatest holy warrior. Yet no matter Erlong's form, Wukong always had a counter. Until Lao Zi threw in a convenient plot MacGuffin that captured the monkey. But even with Wukong in chains, heaven had a problem.
He just wouldn't die. Lightning, fire, even Lao Zi's de-immortalizing furnace just made the monkey stronger.
Now,
Stronger?
Wukong is not invincible. He has been hurt by the scorpion demoness's poison, which could even harm the Buddha, an awakened divine being liberated from the cycle of life and death entirely. Now tell me, how painful is that?
Pain is all in the mind, and
I don't think so.
am absent of mind. Oh God!
Boomstick, no, you don't look good.
Really bad. Oh God, make it stop! But even after all that, Sun had one more challenger to contend with: the Buddha himself.
Buddha approached Wukong with a contest, leap out of his hand, and he could have the Jade Emperor's throne for himself.
Okay.
Having no impulse control, the monkey agreed, and in an instant somersaulted to the very edge of heaven.
But he had already lost. Because Buddha achieved nirvana, he transcended the world, literally holding all of existence. So even at the edge of the universe, Wukong technically never left his hand.
Yeah.
For his rebellion, Sun was put in timeout, sealed under a mountain for 500 years.
But even
Yikes.
so, Wukong would find
That's a long
chance
time.
at redemption. In his case, he was tasked with escorting and protecting a monk, Tansong Zong, or Tripitaka, on a journey to the west.
With additional
Journey to the
companions,
west.
Pixie and Sandy, the trip was a tough one, and Monkey abandoned it more than once. But through it all, he always returned to shine as the group's powerhouse, saving Tripitaka's life many times.
Nice.
Seriously, this guy could not stay
I'm
out
trying
of
to absorb all the
trouble.
text on the
Like, boy,
side.
is it a fine date.
Wukong has cracked apart mountains, slayed hundreds of monsters, and survived the Yellow Wind Demon storm that could destroy the universe. As in heaven, earth, the 18 layers of hell, and more.
That's cool and all, Wiz.
Wow.
Let's answer the real question. Can he beat Goku?
Maybe. During his journey, Wukong performed possibly his most legendary feat, holding up Mount Sumeru, which, in traditional Mahayana Buddhism, is a mountain supporting the infinite cosmic sky.
And Sun just hauled
Okay.
it around on one shoulder. Just one.
Okay.
His other shoulder was a whole other mountain.
After 4
Okay.
years of travel, the journey was complete.
These gods are
Wukong had finally
godly,
accomplished a truly
to say the
great
least.
deed. For this, he was given his long-awaited place among the heavens.
As the victorious fighting Buddha. Now that's gotta be an anime.
After so much time as a rebel, an outcast, and a truly unstoppable warrior, Sun Wukong had, at last, found his home.
That's awesome. Good job, Sun Wukong.
This episode is
Okay, so now let's skip through this actual ad that is here. Okay, time for a death battle! Let's just pause it. I overshot a little bit, but that's fine, whatever. So, trying to think who would win this fight. Okay, so there are a few things that, like, I kind of need to decide for myself, or a few things I kind of need to think about, like, how Death Battle will interpret things. Because they're keeping some things pretty vague, but I think that's on purpose, because maybe if they didn't, then it would sound kind of obvious instead. So, I don't really blame them for that, but it does make my job a little difficult. So, for one thing, I didn't really understand, like, I'm trying to, like, compare speed, like, the speed of the characters. I don't know if there was, like, a major thing for Hercules in terms of, like, how fast he could move. If there was, I think I might have just blipped over it. Or are they trying to argue that, you know, maybe he just has, like a measurable speed or a relevant speed or something because of the scope that he's at now? Again, if they did, I didn't really catch it. The main thing I did catch is that, you know, we had his arrows could move, like, 90 to 100 times the speed of light, you know, so that's pretty ridiculous. And we did, you know, get that Sun Wukong could travel, like, the circumference of the Earth in a week, which is way less than the speed of light. But I also saw on the sidebar that they said, you know, he leapt through heaven, like, one edge of heaven to the other, like, in like a very short amount of time. So again, I don't know exactly how big this version of heaven is. I don't know if, like, the edge of heaven usually doesn't even exist, and, you know, it's just something ridiculous that Sun Wukong did. Again, it's hard to say. But then there's also, like, they talked about, like, the stuff that these characters did that was, like, supposedly infinite, like, matching, like, universal destruction, which was basically everything, or, like, surviving universal destruction, like in Sun Wukong's case. But then with Hercules, like, he lifted up the sky, which, like, is, like, literal infinity. Like, was that even supposed to be, like, transcendence as well? If that was, I'm not even like, maybe they said that, if that was the case, but with Sun Wukong, I don't know if they said anything about him, like, transcending anything. They just kind of more so said, like, he was able to, like, do everything, or do something on the scope of everything, but I don't know if they actually said that he was able to transcend anything. You know, like, Hercules was never outmatched, like, in a game of, you know, strengths or anything, right? So that's pretty ridiculous. I still want to say, though, that Sun Wukong has more magic, although Hercules has gone up against, I think, more things than I thought he did, but I still want to say Sun Wukong probably has more experience. He was able to just match another opponent's power increase. So it makes me think, you know, with all these crazy things that Hercules can do, like, he's supposedly unmatched in certain areas, couldn't Sun Wukong just match him because he decides to, you know? And also, are they including, like, these characters, like, ascending to godhood or whatever, or nirvana in like in maybe one person's case? You know, I don't know exactly what they're going for. Although I did notice that, you know, they said that Sun Wukong was harmed by, you know, the poison that was strong enough to poison, you know, the Buddha. And you know, Hercules has the Hydra arrows, which can sometimes harm gods. But then it's kind of like, how do you compare the Buddha to the gods? You know, because I thought, like, those who were classified as Buddha were like above what is normally like considered a god in Greek mythology. But maybe I'm wrong about that, you know? Maybe that's actually not the case at all. That's kind of the way that I was told about it, the way like I interpreted it, but that they might be more evenly matched than I think. Maybe the Greek gods are actually higher. I don't know. But if, you know, Sun Wukong was really only damaged by something that was powerful enough to harm the Buddha, then I don't know if Hercules has that much that can hurt him, even with his arrows. And again, maybe except for his arrows. And maybe his arrows can travel like, 100 times the speed of light or something. But again, Sun Wukong might be faster than that already. So I really don't know. Again, they're keeping it quite vague, I think on purpose, or maybe I just missed more things than I should have. I don't know. Maybe everything is actually laid out perfectly for me and I didn't even notice. But I think right now I'm still going to have to go with Sun Wukong, but I could definitely see Hercules winning. Again, I think a big part of it might just be because they're holding back some information that would make it obvious if they told us already. But I have to go based off the information that they're giving me here, because they're the ones deciding the outcome. It doesn't really make a lot of sense for me to do otherwise. So based on everything they said, I still want to go for Sun Wukong. But again, based on everything they said, I could see Hercules winning. But either way, again, I just want to see a cool fight, and I think we're in for a real treat. The analyses I thought, by the way, I'll say this right now, the analyses I thought were pretty good. Like, I think even though they were vague, and that's like, sometimes that does annoy me, I do think they went over a lot of good stuff, and I think they really presented the characters well and did them justice. But that's just me. And again, I don't know everything about the characters, so maybe there are some other things they could have talked about, but whatever. Let's watch this death battle. So there's a scroll. There's a landscape and a mountain.
Great mountain, where the mighty Heracles sought a gift from the god.
I love the narration.
Oh there. I'm in need of that apple. Relinquish it.
Sorry, I'm supposed to find my master some vegetarian food.
You'll find it elsewhere.
Ooh.
But Heracles was not so easily fooled.
It's not the right apple.
The Monkey King's strike rang true.
Ooh. Well, that's what we saw. That's what we saw at the beginning of the
God
episode.
of strength.
I do like the narration. It really suits this episode. Oh, damn.
I am Heracles!
I didn't even think about that, but that makes total sense. Knocking around the scroll. Yeah, you might not want to get hit by that, no matter what. Oh, you're doing a good job avoiding them. And they're fast arrows. Oh, right, but just taking out the duplicates. Is he gonna use them to block? Oh, okay, I thought he was gonna use them to block an arrow. Damn.
Agony! Agony!
The Monkey King fell into a strange forest, in awe at such a wondrous fight. But should he mistake his fear, he might lose his head.
Oh! Ow!
I haven't had such fun since
But
I
he
followed
can regenerate from that.
King. Behold me, the immortal Monkey King!
Multiple heads. Of course.
Right, the Hydra, yeah.
This!
I like that line a lot. Like, I'm rooting for Hercules, but I kind of want to be right, so... Oh! That was nice.
You've had your
Yeah,
fun,
healed up the
beast.
sky, bro. Healed up, like, everything.
Had enough.
In
Yeah.
heavens above, the gods witnessed their earthbound selves, and so joined in battle.
Wow.
God of strength mustered the hearts of Olympus, while the great sage harnessed power equal to heaven. Thus, the Monkey King emerged victorious.
Really?
Wow, would you
Okay.
look at that?
It's a bit of a spoiler, but not really.
Nothingness.
With a
formidable foe slain, stricken against the mountain's breast.
Formidable
So
indeed.
ends our great tale of East and West.
Nice. Okay, so I was right, but I want to hear why, just to be clear about everything.
Hercules was among the greatest heroes in myth, but the great sage equal to heaven held many more advantages. You'd think
I did
Sun
think
might
so.
not measure up to the god of strength, strength, but he totally could. Remember, he carried Sumeru on his back, the mountain holding up the infinite celestial sky, like how Heracles held up the infinite
So they are
celestial
comparable.
sphere.
Okay,
As
I wasn't
befitting
sure
heroes
whether or
of
not
myth,
they
were on par
technically
in that they
were.
both incomprehensibly strong. However, Wukong's healing abilities meant he could bounce back from Heracles' deadliest blows.
Yeah.
whereas Heracles did not have a similar option. But Heracles did have one way of putting the Monkey King down. His arrows dipped in Hydra poison.
Okay.
The Hydra poison threatened even the gods of Olympus, similar to the Scorpion Sting. Whether or not it would be fatal is questionable, but it could have incapacitated Wukong, similar to how it affected Heracles
Yeah, I think
himself.
that's fair to
But that
say.
is one very specific win condition, and we're looking at this with every possible option.
Exactly,
With
yeah.
his variety of
I was saying I thought it
clones,
could withstand the other
transformations, and
weapons.
numerous other spells. Wukong's arsenal was far more versatile. Like, there was nothing stopping him from making thousands of clones of himself and just sitting back while they beat up Herc for him.
Yeah.
Sportsman-like? Sure. In character? Absolutely. Even then, those arrows would have to actually strike Wukong, which would be extremely difficult. Yes, in some depictions, Heracles could potentially shoot the son of Helios, his arrows flying 90 times the speed of light. However, in his contest with the Buddha, Wukong leapt to the edge of the universe.
So there we go. Now we're
in a
actually getting
second.
into
To do
this.
so, he had to be moving over 1.4 quintillion times.
I had a
faster,
feeling it'd be a
making him
ridiculous
way
number
faster
like
than
that.
Herc could ever hope to be. Heracles
Yeah.
had a might of mythic proportions, but barring a lucky shot, Sun Wukong's versatile magic, similar strength, and absolutely absurd speed overcame this foe. Fitting for heaven's equal. When fighting Sun Wukong, Heracles missed his chance. The winner.
Come
is
on,
the
man.
Sun Wukong.
Alright, good job, Sun Wukong.
Thanks for
I'm
watching.
happy I was
Stay tuned to
right.
see
Maybe
what
not
comes
for all the
next.
right
Can't
reasons,
wait.
but
Consider clicking that join
it
button
did seem
below
like
to
in
become a
more
Death
ways
Battle
he was
member.
superior.
Get exclusive badges,
Heracles,
live
though,
chats, live
still
streams,
awesome.
way more.
Alright, what's next? Next we got... Oh, that's Boba Fett. And who's he fighting? That's Predator. Okay. This is the fight that I thought we were gonna get. Like... Okay, for those of you guys that don't know, because I feel like I have to say this all the time, there were a lot of characters that were announced at the end of Saitama vs. Popeye for Season 9. Saitama vs. Popeye was the Season 8 finale. And basically all the characters had been used at this point. Like, there was Jinx, there was Vegeta, there was Scarlet Witch, but we had not seen Boba Fett yet. He was the last character of that batch. And I predicted that he was going to be fighting Predator, and he is fighting Predator. There were some other opponents, like there was Wolf from Star Fox, which I thought would have been kind of cool, but I didn't really think we were going to get it. And then there was also Star-Lord, and we've been having so many Marvel characters so far that I didn't think he was going to fight Star-Lord either. I really just thought Predator was the only natural option, and that this is what we're getting. So, you know, I'll definitely, you know, I'm really excited for that. You know, I think both of the characters are really cool. I won't talk about it that much right now, just because you know, just because I'll save that for a prediction video. But yeah, so talking about this, and also one more thing, is this like the mid-season finale, and are we having a break after this episode? I'm asking because like I just kind of want to like plan out my schedule, because now I'm working a lot more, and you know, it kind of makes it hard to find time to make all these videos and try to get all of them out on time. Sometimes, most of the time, I'd say even. So I'm just curious, like, are they going to be taking a break after this episode? Let me know down in the comments below if you know, if you even get to this part of the video. But yeah, talking about this episode, I quite enjoyed it. It wasn't exactly like a regular Death Battle episode, like there was narration in the animation, but everything that was different about this episode, I thought they did in a pretty good way. Like, in terms of interpreting the feats, yeah, sometimes you can interpret them in different ways, especially when you look at something like mythology. But I think they did a pretty good job at that. The narration, like in the animation, I actually quite liked it. And in pretty much every other way, it was just like a regular Death Battle, but with different kinds of characters, which is exactly what I wanted, you know? Sometimes I feel like when Death Battle really tries to change things up, like I especially think of like Macho Man versus Kool-Aid Man, when they really try to change things up, like the structure of the death battle, it can sometimes detract from the overall quality rather than add on to it. But here, I really like that they use, like, the changes between a regular death battle and this death battle sparingly, and it was mostly just, it was a regular death battle with very different kinds of characters. I really appreciate that, actually. So, you know, this is really good, because if I had not liked this episode to any capacity, then it would have really bummed me out, because again, I was so excited for this one because it was something different. And now I know that I can still hope for something different in the future, because I know Death Battle can do it well. And, you know, maybe this wasn't the best episode in the world or anything like that, I wouldn't say it is, but it was still really well done. Again, I think in terms of the analysis, they were vague earlier, but I feel like, they kind of had to be. Sometimes, though, it was hard. Like, I feel like I was almost overthinking it. Like, you know, I was trying to say, like, well, is Hercules' feat where he lifts up the thing better than Sun Wukong's similar feat where he lifts up the other thing, where they're both, like, infinite stuff or whatever? Like, is one technically better than the other in some way? And then for the speed thing, of course, they specifically did not talk about Sun Wukong's speed, because that was a major part of the, you know, a major part of the conclusion. Although I think I did still bring up, like, every major thing. Like, I thought that Sun Wukong was better in terms of, like, magic and versatility. I said that really the only thing that could have killed him were the Hydra arrows. And even then, like, I didn't really think it was going to be that big a difference. Because Death Battle is never about, like, oh, if one character has one thing that could possibly kill the other character, then that character automatically wins. You know, it's not like that. It's they have to analyze how each character could possibly kill the other character in every way and see what's more likely out of those. Like, if one character only has one win condition, then it's not really that good if the other character has, like, 100 or something, just for example, you know? So, you know, I appreciate the way they did the conclusion. The animation I thought was a fine length. Maybe I would have preferred a little longer, but I still liked the escalation of it. Like, I think it kind of, like, kept going in a very natural and compelling way. I really liked the god stuff at the end, and how, like, it wasn't too drawn out. It was really just like, oh, these are, like, the god avatars or whatever, and they're clashing. Here's what happens, you know, because that's more realistic. So, and when we already saw all the cool flipping around at the beginning and middle, so I thought that was perfectly fine the way they did the animation. So again, I'm not sure if I would say this is my favorite of the season. You know, there's like Thor versus Vegeta, Homelander versus Omni-Man. You know, we still had some really good ones in the season. Honestly, I'd say that this is probably the most consistently, or just the most consistent season in a while. Like, I wouldn't say that we've really hit any of the big highs of Death Battle Season 8 yet, but I also don't think we've hit any of the lows either. And when I eventually make, like, my ranking of, like, the first half of the Death Battle Season 9 episodes, which I guess would probably be after this one, right? I think there are 16 episodes in it, and this is episode 8. Again, someone correct me if I'm wrong. But it's going to be really hard for me to rank them, and I don't know if I'm going to feel comfortable putting any of them at the bottom, because there isn't really one that I've, like, majorly disliked. There's always something I can appreciate out of all of them. And I know there are a lot of people who have, like, very different rankings, because a lot of them are just very close in quality. So it's more so about, you know, what you get out of more so in Death Battle, rather than trying to look at objective traits or whatever. So it's going to be tough. But the point is, like, I'll save that for later. The point is, I really appreciate that they did this episode, and I did really enjoy it. And that's really all I have to say. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Who do you think should have won? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this reaction, be sure to give this video a like. Comment your comments down below. Subscribe if you could too. That would be amazing. But no matter what you guys do, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, that's it for me. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.